Now that we're talking about Meghan Markle once more, I've come to the conclusion that she is the undisputed queen of one thing: cosplay. More specifically, she has become the queen of posing as Princess Diana, and these recent social media posts from her trip to Disneyland are taking this obsession to a whole new level that is truly creepy and bordering on pathological. It all began with these gloomy new posts that showed the fake Duchess at Disneyland, and what caught everyone's attention wasn't just that she was there, but how she was actually. When you compare Diana's face on a theme park ride with Harry and William to Meghan's face on a Disney ride with Harry, the intentional resemblance is so unsettling, according to royal watchers. After that embarrassing video was made public, damage control was swiftly implemented, which is why we were suddenly inundated with innocent family pictures at Disney. Using the exact same poses as Diana used to strike on rides, we're talking about deliberate recreation here, down to the facial expressions and body positioning. The daily uploads of images and videos are so frequent, and the difference is that they're using traditional media instead of a streaming platform, but the effect is the same. The Diana cosplay aspect of this whole situation has people really disturbed. How often does she practice these poses? They could as well be doing a cheap, tacky reality TV show. How much time does it take her to meticulously replicate Diana's old photos? Now, let's discuss what royal specialists have to say about this whole situation. The fixation with attempting to be regarded as Diana is genuinely weird and raises major doubts about her mental condition. Diana was undoubtedly a big person, but she gained notoriety by presenting herself to the public in a true manner. She won people over with her sincere deeds, charitable endeavors, and innate empathy, and as a result, they felt a genuine connection to Diana. Meghan, on the other hand, is merely trying to cosplay and act her way into the same level of public adoration. The issue is that this strategy always makes her appear phony. What everyone admired about Diana was her genuine connection, empathy, and authenticity. Attempts to expedite the entire process by copying someone who has done it more effectively than she has, which obviously never works out well for anyone, including Meghan. There is conjecture that Meghan may be playing into Harry's delusions by doing this, feeding into his own complex relationship with his mother's memory. But regardless of the motivation, the entire situation comes across as extremely unsettling and eerie. This entire tactic only serves to reinforce the idea that Meghan is there to try to be her mother-in-law rather than to be herself. However, the most annoying thing about these Disney posts isn't they're playing an absurd game with their kids' privacy peers, even with the Diana cosplay. When Morgan wrote about celebrities who frequently share photos of their children to showcase their parenting prowess but hide their faces in this way to appear as though they respect their privacy, he discovered something that irritates everyone. It's a strange contradiction that defies logic. Either post your children on social media or keep them off of it. Many parents make that choice in one way or another and always adhere to their own instructions. But Harry and Meghan are playing this weird game where they pretend to be parents while also saying that they are protecting their kids' privacy. The pictures from this Disney vacation are especially telling because although they are merely hanging around with their kids, they don't even appear to be very involved or active parents. These two individuals are occasionally trying to appear like parents, but we also see them traveling the world quite a bit. Meghan took a 5 or 6 hour one-way flight across the nation to get to a play in New York for no apparent reason. And we know they have a nanny because she has acknowledged having one, but there are likely more staff members than that. This makes their attempt to appear very parental with a few carefully staged photos seem absurd because everyone can see exactly what they're doing, and everyone knows that this is all for show. It's suspected that they went to Disney only because they received this package, not because they live just a few hours away from Disneyland, actually took their children there on their own initiative. This visit has been the subject of intense scrutiny, and people have noticed some really strange things. Although the faces were hidden, it is still clear that photoshopping was being done in the images, which is strange in and of itself. But here's what's really strange. Not a single visitor to one of the busiest theme parks in the nation, California, saw the Harkles, and not a single public service announcement photo was taken. Nearly every day, celebrities and VIPs visit Disney, and you always hear about it afterwards. Out of respect, people usually leave them alone, but they still mention seeing so-and-so. It is suspicious that no public information about this visit was received, and these children, particularly Archie, appear to be very unhappy in the pictures. Their body language doesn't convey the impression that they are in the happiest place on earth. However, there are ways in which this could have occurred without any public sightings. There are hidden passageways and ways to navigate Disneyland that the public won't notice if you grew up in Southern California. There may have been times when the nanny was with the kids and the parents weren't there, so no one would have known what the kids were really doing, appear to identify them. This is similar to how Michael Jackson dealt with his kids, sending them out with nannies so they could participate in activities without being noticed because they weren't with him. In order to keep other guests from witnessing VIP visitors, Disney can also halt rides and shift passengers on and off in certain ways. Another option would be to arrive very early, perhaps at 6 in the morning before the park opens at 8. Since Disney rarely closes the park to visitors unless there are extremely dire circumstances, it is open all day, so they probably conducted some activities very early in the morning before other people arrived. Sometimes the parks are so crowded, and families are preoccupied with themselves that they might not notice celebrities, especially if those celebrities aren't making a big show out of their presence. According to reports, they were staying in a Disney apartment that costs an outrageous $22,000 per night. So they definitely had the VIP treatment that would make avoiding public attention much easier. But this is where things get really. There is a clear pattern of favoritism occurring, as evidenced by the way Meghan has spoken about Lily in recent interviews with Jaime Kern-Lima and on Confessions of a Female Founder. It is truly unsettling, and Meghan could at least attempt to pretend that she treats her children equally. Harry is obviously overcompensating for this imbalance, and it's strange that Meghan's apparent hatred of men from her woke perspective seems to come out even when she's talking about her own children. Considering what Meghan has actually told and demonstrated to us, she stated in an article in People magazine that she is leaving a legacy, not for her children in general, but specifically for Lily, by establishing a business with Lily that will feature Lily prominently in her promotional materials. For her birthday, Lily receives 2 posts with 2 pictures each of which shows Lily cuddling with her parents separately, while Archie only receives 1 picture of himself alone, overlooking the ocean. The huge disparity in treatment is unavoidable. Meghan appears to have a toxic feminist viewpoint. She doesn't even try to hide the fact that she clearly favors one child over the other, since she doesn't just believe in equality, but also thinks males must suffer because of the supposed patriarchy. It's crazy that this was apparently their first time at Disneyland, even though they live in California and could have easily gone before. They went specifically for Lily's birthday, which begs the question of what Archie got for his birthday, celebration, and the difference in treatment. The park trip was obviously for Lily, which she first posted about before deleting that part, but all the content was obviously Lily-focused. The fact that these children are still in the line of succession, and that Harry has given them the opportunity to possibly return to royal life in some capacity, makes it concerning that they are growing up with this mentality. It's unfortunate that they aren't surrounded by anyone from Harry's side of the family, or really anyone from the Markle side other than Doria, who seems to be quite distant herself. This favoritism is unfortunately something that extreme woke people do, infiltrating these toxic ideologies into their children's minds. These kids are being treated in a toxic way that will probably turn Archie into one of those self-loathing young men, but hopefully he will rebel against this treatment as he gets older. The obvious favoritism must be difficult for him, especially when he considers all the things his mother wants to give his sister that he doesn't get. The irony is that Meghan doesn't seem to think Lily can stand on her own, which goes against her feminist messaging. Instead of encouraging both kids to lift themselves up equally, she should support Lily. Possess direction and purpose without becoming so preoccupied with one child that you produce this toxic situation. When Harry clings to Archie, it almost seems like he's trying to overcompensate because Mom got Lily a trip to Disneyland for her birthday but didn't do the same for Archie. The relationship between Harry and Meghan has always been unhealthy, and Harry is more than willing to follow Meghan's instructions and let her lead. What's especially telling is that sources close to the Sussexes claim Meghan is thrilled with the response to Meghan, apparently doesn't care about British haters calling her vulgar, because Americans found the twerking video to be funny and relatable. She has positioned herself as the chief storyteller of her brand, with very clear views about the story she wants to tell around her products, each of which